the Battle of the Somme. A name synonymous with unimaginable bloodshed and the horrors of the First World War. From July 1st to November 18, 1916, the British and French armies launched a massive offensive against the entrenched German forces along the Somme River in France. The objective was ambitious: break through the German lines and end the bloody stalemate. What followed was a grueling struggle that scarred a generation. The scale of the battle was immense. The British army, bolstered by volunteers, amassed alongside their French counterparts. The air crackled with anticipation. Few could have predicted the sheer scale of the carnage. The stage was set for a tragedy of unprecedented proportions. The Battle of the Somme became a byword for futile sacrifice. The coming months would test the resolve of nations and the souls of the men who fought and died. July 1st, 1916. Dawn broke over the Somme, casting an eerie pallor over the trenches that snaked across the French countryside. At 7:30 a.m., a deafening roar erupted as the British artillery unleashed a thunderous bombardment on the German lines. It was the opening salvo of what was intended to be a decisive breakthrough, a week-long artillery barrage designed to obliterate the enemy and pave the way for a triumphant advance. The reality, however, would prove to be horrifyingly different. The British infantry, laden with heavy packs and rifles, went over the top and into no man's land, expecting to encounter shattered German defenses. Instead, they were met with a storm of machine gun fire and artillery shells. The week-long bombardment intended to cripple the German defenses had largely failed. Many of the shells were duds, and the German trenches, dug deep into the chalky soil, had weathered the storm. By the end of the day, the British Army had suffered over 57,000 casualties, with nearly 20,000 dead. It was the bloodiest day in British military history, a catastrophic loss that sent shockwaves through the nation. The Somme had announced its terrible toll, and the world watched in horror as the casualty figures continued to mount. At the heart of the British strategy on the Somme was attrition warfare. Championed by Field Marshal Sir Douglas Haig, the plan was simple: inflict more casualties on the enemy than they could sustain. Grind down their forces and break their will to fight. It was a desperate gamble relying on numerical superiority and industrial might. Haig, controversial for his determination and indifference to loss of life, led costly offensives. Wave after wave of British soldiers faced German machine guns and artillery. The human cost was appalling. The Somme became a byword for the futility of attrition warfare, a testament to the limitations of such tactics. The debate over Haig's strategy continues to this day. Section 4. The German fortress defenses designed to decimate. The German army, masters of defensive warfare, had transformed their sector of the Western Front into a formidable network of trenches, bunkers, and machine gun nests. Years of preparation had gone into fortifying their positions, creating a layered defense system designed to bleed the enemy white. The chalky terrain of the Somme, ideal for digging deep dugouts and interconnecting tunnels, further enhanced the German defenses. The German trenches were more than just ditches in the ground. They were complex systems, often reinforced with concrete and steel, and connected by a labyrinthine network of communication trenches. Deep dugouts provided protection from artillery bombardments, while strategically placed machine gun nests could unleash a withering crossfire on any attacking force. The German defenses were a testament to their tactical acumen and engineering prowess, but they were also a grim harbinger of the challenges facing the British and French attackers. The Somme was not going to be a swift breakthrough, but a brutal battle of attrition, fought inch by bloody inch against a determined and well-prepared enemy. Section 5. Technological terror, new weapons, unprecedented carnage. The Battle of the Somme witnessed the debut of new and terrifying weapons that would come to define the industrialized slaughter of the First World War. Machine guns, capable of firing hundreds of rounds per minute, mowed down attacking infantry with chilling efficiency. Artillery, more powerful and accurate than ever before, rained down shells that pulverized trenches and shattered the landscape. Poison gas, a new and horrifying addition to the arsenals of war, was used by both sides, adding to the terror and misery of the battlefield. The Somme also saw the first use of tanks in warfare, lumbering behemoths intended to break the stalemate of trench warfare. However, their early deployments were plagued by mechanical issues, and their impact on the battle was limited. The technological advancements of the early 20th century had transformed warfare into a mechanized nightmare. The Somme became a testing ground for these new weapons, a grim demonstration of their devastating power and the limitations of traditional tactics in the face of such firepower. Section 6. The quagmire of the Somme terrain as an enemy. The battlefield itself became a formidable enemy on the Somme. Heavy rains turned the already churned-up ground into a sea of mud, swallowing men and machines alike. Shell craters, some enormous, pockmarked the landscape, creating treacherous obstacles and disrupting any semblance of order. The mud hampered movement, making it difficult to advance or retreat. Supplies and reinforcements often bogged down in the quagmire, while the wounded lay exposed and vulnerable. The terrain of the Somme, already challenging, had been transformed by the relentless bombardment into a nightmarish landscape that conspired with the enemy to break the spirit of the attackers. The conditions on the Somme tested the limits of human endurance. Soldiers, already exhausted from battle, had to contend with the ever-present mud, the stench of death, and the constant threat of enemy fire. The physical and psychological toll was immense, turning the battlefield into a test of survival as much as a fight for victory. Section 7. A Pyrrhic Reckoning, Limited Gains, Lasting Scars. After 141 days of brutal fighting, the Battle of the Somme finally came to an end on November 18, 1916. The British had advanced a mere 6 miles at a staggering cost, over 420,000 casualties. The French, fighting alongside the British, suffered nearly 200,000 casualties, while German losses are estimated to be around 500,000. It was a Pyrrhic victory at best, a testament to the futility of attrition warfare and the horrific cost of the First World War. The Somme left an indelible scar on Britain. Entire towns and villages were decimated, with generations of young men lost. The battle's impact on British society was profound, shaking public confidence in the military leadership and casting a long shadow over the nation. The Battle of the Somme stands as a stark reminder of the horrors of war and the human cost of conflict. It forced a re-evaluation of tactics and leadership, but its lessons were learned at an unimaginable price. The Somme's legacy is etched not just in the history books, but in the collective memory of a nation forever haunted by the sheer scale of loss and sacrifice.